were talking about people like Akhenaten and Tutankhamun. Modern movie making have fitted them into very neat little boxes of good and evil, and Brendan Fraser's and Tom Cruise's going and killing them, etc. But it never is that black and white, is it? And that probably needs to be underlined a little more today than
Well, I mean, actually, the way that Akhenaten has been understood is fascinating, because the background for this is that Akhenaten essentially seems to be trying to introduce a form of monotheism. And the relevance of this for the story of Moses, for the story of the Israelites escaping Israel, was immediately apparent to people.
Sure.
And Sigmund Freud wrote a famous study of it, in which he suggested that Moses was an Egyptian name, that Moses had been a priest of Akhenaten who'd led the Hebrews out into the desert, where they had then killed him. And so the whole kind of emergence of the idea of Yahweh as this volcano god who was simultaneously very brutal and very elevated was a kind of sublimated memory of the murder of this priest of Akhenaten, which tells you far more about Freud, I think, than it does about the historical Akhenaten.
Sure.
But it suggests how the combination of detail and things that we don't know, say with Akhenaten, provides rich scope for people to come up with all kinds of theories. And to this day, the question of what Akhenaten was up to. So there are people who cast him as the prototype of a totalitarian.
Exactly.
Someone who wanted to get rid of all the other gods because he couldn't directly control it. And they say that's why he was so hated, that after he died, his very memory was buried, which ironically is why Tutankhamun's tomb came to be preserved, because Tutankhamun was included in this damnatio memoriae, this attempt to erase all memory of Akhenaten and his family. So his name wasn't included in the king's lists. And so when grave robbers went to the Valley of the Kings, they didn't have Tutankhamun's name on the list. And so that's why his tomb was preserved. And so the irony is that the attempt to obliterate Tutankhamun's memory resulted in due course, 2,500 years on from his death, in him becoming perhaps the most famous of all the pharaohs, which is an example of the kind of irony that makes the study of history so compelling and fun.